we're just going into it. Well, I'm going to count down to
Infinity.
Infinity
And beyond.
We're counting down to a lot of things, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but we promised a Bond podcast, which is nice that it's postponed a year, so we have time.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
We did that on purpose.
We have all of them on Blu-ray. So
If we recorded all the Bond episodes, we would look like fools right now. Releasing, what would we do in between?
Yeah, exactly. Like countdown to
Bond.
display something
More
up and
Bond. Austin Powers, maybe. America's Bond.
You're giving yourself ideas like on this thing.
No, let me write this down. A cash grab. My name's
Mainstream.
Emmanuel.
My name's Andrew.
Hey, I'm John.
And I'm Roy.
What?
Oh, shit.
We watch every single Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and in between this weird break where really isn't anything coming out, we're watching non-MCU movies.
We watching non-MCU movies. Yeah, we are.
We did watch. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do some plugs in the beginning because this is coming out tomorrow, and I'm not gonna have time to re-record. But go to patreon.com/DelphinPod to support the pod. You can register vote at DelphinPod.com now. Thanks to Rock the Vote for setting that up. All right, that's it. So I don't have to record anything separately.
But also, you could have said it at the end also.
Yeah, and I will do it at the end.
Oh, shit.
But
Sandwich plugs.
This week, speaking of sandwiches, boy, New York is a great place for sandwiches. And you know who lives in New York? Spider-Man.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, goddamn. That pesky motherfucking Spider-Man. Back again on
back
this pod
again.
for
A
the
different
third
Spider-Man.
time.
A fifth
Every
Spider-Man.
time Spider-Man comes back to this pod, he's a different person.
Yeah.
He's like the fucking doctor from
We're
Doctor Who.
talking the Amazing Spider-Man, which is kind of a weird brag considering he's
It's not that
basically-
amazing.
No, but he's I don't mean that, but he's basically saying the other ones aren't.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, so we're talking Mark Webb's Andrew Garfield led 2012 Amazing Spider-Man.
Sony, I was just going to keep going
Why
into more
do
details
you
before we
think
said the movie.
Spider-Man keeps getting redone as often? I know there's like there's a cynical business side of this, but outside of that, what do you think?
Money.
I think
Okay,
that's
cool,
the
all right.
cynical business side is the reason. It's
the rights.
The rights not reverting
Well,
back.
and we were
Right, yeah, you're
watching
right.
the making of right before we started, and they kind of mentioned that on how they working on a fourth Tobey Maguire one kind of morphed into
This?
this because basically they found out that they run their course on the third one on the Sam Raimi trilogy or whatever, and they didn't have anything. They felt like they didn't have any new ground to cover, and so they kind of say, hey, Spider-Man in the comic books reinvents himself all the time, and hey, you know what? We saw a lot of comic books, and it's basically the same thing where it's like, hey, let's reboot it. Everyone buys #1 issues again.
When
Everyone's into that, and so they rebooted this one.
When did Spider-Man 3 come out?
Spider-Man 3 was 2007.
And this was 2012. That's not bad. I feel like, because, I mean, are we not in the time of two
Reboots?
Spider-Man movies coming out this last
Every
year?
2 years.
Technically. Well, I mean,
Or 3.
Yeah.
Because of Endgame.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Fuck.
And
Fuck.
well, also because like Spider-Man, I think the Into the Spider-Verse really threw a very awesome wrench.
That's
in
true. That's
everything.
like 12
it's so cool.
Spider-Man.
Because like that
12
movie, no one was
Spider-Man
expecting
movies.
to be good, really. But then like it ended up being the best fucking Spider-Man movie ever, which is like pretty cool.
The first, or, well, I guess some of them might have won other Oscars.
And then you have
Second.
Spider-Man: Homecoming, Homewrecker, whatever the hell the other one's called. Like,
Spider-Man Homewrecker.
Far From Home.
Did we make this joke? Probably. On the
Yeah, we
other
did. Yeah,
one.
we probably did. He should be home. Like that's the next one. Homewrecker.
John wants them to just break marriages straight down the middle.
Hey, Aunt May.
Yeah,
Wink.
Oh shit.
So Spider-Man is, I think, the Superman of Marvel, though, in a weird
Yeah,
way, right?
He's definitely Marvel's poster boy. Like when you think of Marvel, I think he's the one that's most commonly associated.
Like
with
DC
that.
has Batman and
Which is unfortunate
For,
'cause
like, their
Sony
bestseller,
has-
yeah.
Sony
Like-
has their grips all fucking tight around it.
yeah.
It's so successful, and in terms of a brand, every time they make a Spider-Man movie, it means they can make more toys and shirts and like Jack in the Box
video games.
figures.
Jack in the Box.
You okay? You're like Jack in the Box Happy Meal toys.
I don't even know if there is a Happy Meal at Jack in the
I don't
Box.
know. I
Is
made
there?
it up.
Yeah, there's
Why did I pick
The
that
Happy
one?
Meals for McDonald's. Why would anybody else have Happy Meals?
Unhappy Meals.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not the first person
Big
to come
Kid
up
Meals
with that.
from Burger King. Mighty Kids.
Do you guys
Meal.
remember BK Club?
yes.
There's I shouldn't bring it up.
The gang, like
God,
the
I gotta
Biz Kid,
self-censor.
the Biz Kid or whatever.
Well, there were a ton of kids, and let's just say
Michael Jackson. Never mind.
there were a lot of kids in the BK Club.
Is that,
Well, let's talk
I
about
can't do this.
Spider-Man. I feel like did you guys have an issue with it being rebooted so soon? Because you brought up a good point. Spider-Man 4 was in development, but then the development meant that Sam Raimi was everyone's going to get big pay bumps, and during development, before they were going to roll, the movie was already going to cost $100 million before they spent money on sets or filming it. And they were like,
Which, to be honest, I mean, it's a Spider-Man movie, so we might make that money back.
these movies make
Bank, bitch.
We're going to talk about the success of this one, or some people thought lack of success, but this movie made
a ton of money.
a shit ton of money. But did you guys have a problem with it being rebooted so soon?
No.
And I agree with Roy, but it's only because the third one sucked.
Yeah.
And so I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, like had the third one been
The
good, I would
Hangover.
have been like, no way, keep it going.
Yeah.
On the gravy train, the one that he tries to stop with the webs.
Hey, Mark Webb directed this.
Yeah,
Webb?
it was a pun. That's why
Yeah.
they needed Webb directed
You-
by Webb, and they're like, oh fuck, that's the selling point.
And Webb Pierce isn't around anymore. So
This
like,
this was
oh,
in the
shit.
The MCU was already around during the time of this development, and they had already agreed to let Feige develop. So this
Fige.
So this was happening at the same time, The Amazing Spider-Man, and the way that Mark Webb was attached. Mark Webb was he did 500 Days of Summer, which was amazing. He came up through music videos, production, like really good avant-garde filmmaking style when it comes to like time and split screen. But he was actually pitching to make Moneyball, but
Endgame. He was pitching to make
Amy
Endgame.
Pascal at Sony Pictures was like,
I think it was Laura Ziskin at the time.
we have someone else doing that, but
Right, yeah.
you should try to do Spider-Man. And
he
at
was
that
like-
time, they had already met with David Fincher was on board at some point. Like all these people were
David
on
Fincher's
board.
always jumping off of board. World War Z, Spider-Man,
yeah.
Wolverine.
But Mark Webb was like, I don't know if I want to make this movie. But of course, everyone was like,
Do you not want to get paid?
Money.
This is a Spider-Man movie.
Fucking
You
Spider-Man
gotta
money.
do it. So he worked and developed, and he made this Spider-Man movie. But yeah, let's get into it. What were your first? Did you watch this movie in theaters?
Yes.
You may question mark maybe.
Did,
I'm
yeah,
not
I
sure.
did remember watching
I don't
this.
remember.
I watched this in theaters. I remember
I
that.
did, yeah.
Maybe.
What
Maybe
did you
not.
guys think at the time?
Roy's the biggest Spider-Man fan I know, so let's
So
hear
he
his
speaks
voice.
for all of us.
Okay.
Roy, I don't think you're that
Here we
big.
go.
I think it was
build the pedestal.
It was rude that John called you big.
Well, he had a
I
hot
think you're
take
average.
before we started recording, which
Yeah.
is a good
I
take
walked
on
in
him.
and I was like, I think it's better than the first Sammy Raimi Spider-Man.
Wow.
Shots fired.
And you called him Sammy Raimi. So
Oh, yeah.
you must be close with him.
Sammy Ramp. He
My-
just forgets the I. Puts the I in the wrong end
The
of
old,
the one name.
the old
Sammy
SR. The old senior.
Sammy Malik.
But yeah, why do you say that? Why?
There's a lot of things I was telling him that it's really good for like a beginning Spider-Man, because I thought like the Green Goblin, the first one, was just like a villain that came out later in the comics. And I was telling him like in the original Amazing Spider-Man, the Lizard comes out in issue 6, which is like at the very beginning. And even in the animated series, they had the first episode was the Night of the Lizard. So I really like that, you know.
You like lizard?
Yeah, yeah. But he's my second favorite villain. So.
Yeah.
They crawl up your when you're asleep. They crawl up your butthole and lay eggs.
I will say that's what impressed when I watched it in theaters. Two things impressed me. The first was just how different it was in tone. I mean, I was like, "Whoa, this is weird, but not bad." Like it was just very different in tone
it's
and
very
unique, which I liked, because sometimes when someone else takes over, and this was like this was a reboot, so it didn't have to feel that way. But sometimes I feel like they just try to do the same thing
Yeah,
over
like-
again.
yeah.
So this was unique, which I liked, and I love 500 Days of Summer because of heartbreak. But I also really loved Lizard.
Yeah,
The Lizard?
the Lizard.
The
The
Lizard.
Lizard, yeah.
That was sick. And just to have, and obviously we've seen CGI bad guys before, and in the the Spider-Man universe, we've seen a ton, but there was something really cool about seeing like the Jekyll and Hyde / body changing of a lizard.
And that's what I wanted to get into, because like in the comics, he's real Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. He actually eats his son. Like he's so
Eats his ass alive.
no, like the lizard.
His own ass?
Kurt Connors eats his own son.
Yeah, like he turns so primitive that he
Wow.
like, you know, that
Kills his
family
son.
connection isn't there. He sees a kid and he's like, "Well, fuck it, I'm gonna eat him."
But
and
He loves
that-
eating kids.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, that's the whole thing.
That's
like
the tragedy of
of him,
Kurt Connors'
yeah.
character, right? Yeah.
He has to live with that.
He has one arm.
yeah, well, that too.
You're like, damn, he has that. Like that. That's the thing that he's fighting against.
Well, that's what
BK
turns him
Club.
into the lizard. Is like he uses lizard DNA. I think in the comics too. It's like he wants to
Yeah.
regenerate his own arm,
Yeah.
and that which is kind of like, you know, it's a selfish motivation, but it's also like it's very relatable because, like, you know, he's been trying to do that for a while, And in this
And
movie,
it's a natural urge you'd think he would have.
right, yeah. And Kirk Connors is actually, I mean, like the way Roy explained it, the Lizard is a very classic Spider-Man villain. Like
He's in the Game Boy game.
He's in the Game Boy game. He's in the animated series, which is like where I kind of first found out about the Lizard. And growing up as a kid watching the '90s animated series, and then he's also in the Raimi movies. Like Kirk Connors,
Yes,
is
he
a
is.
character.
Yeah, just a
he's-
character.
Yeah, he's in the Raimi movies. It was hinted that like he was going to eventually turn into the Lizard in these movies, and
He almost turned into a Venom lizard there
never
a little bit
happened.
in the third one.
But I do like that little, because it's obviously the way you said a Jekyll and Hyde dynamic where like one side is more primitive than the other, and then one of them is trying to control it, and that's really cool. You kind of got a hint of that in Raimi's first movie with the Goblin, because the
Thought it
Goblin
was too similar.
will start kind of like talking to himself.
Yeah.
Split personality wise, and then so like in this one it's kind of in the same way, but this one's a little bit, I guess, more believable in a way.
Yeah.
Because like he has a
It's less Shakespearean because Willem Dafoe looking in a mirror talking to a mask.
well,
is
nothing
pretty-
happens. Yeah, see, like William Dafoe, his muscles got bigger, and he just put on a suit. Like this one,
He
actually,
was a snack. Lighthouse me, baby.
Connors actually has a physical transformation that turns him into a whole different being.
Yeah.
so
Killer
like
Croc. Apparently, because he doesn't have the snout.
No, well, see, that's
well, yeah, see, like he's gonna explain that.
yeah. See,
snoutless thing.
when
I
he
hate
first
this.
came out, he had no snout.
Yeah.
Like it was just like
Yeah.
real
No, I know.
human. It.
I just hate that how close to a person he looks.
Yeah, I think that's
don't like
supposed to
this.
be. Like it's.
Yeah,
lizard
But
man.
like I prefer the lizard with the snout, but I also like that they didn't do the snout.
I think you can tell more that he would have been a lizard.
Yeah.
And this one again, that's why I was like, you look like fucking Killer Croc with just like the bald head or whatever.
It is really cool to have like the Lizard as a character. I've been kind of waiting for that villain for a while, like in watching
It's
the
a,
original movies.
it's a highlight.
Which again could have probably just spun out of Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, it's definitely a big highlight. And
Spider-Man 4 had the Vulture and the Vulturess.
you know,
Oh
and
yeah, John Malkovich.
And I feel like parts of that movie, and I'm not sure how true this is, but I shared some. I mean, at this point, there's like 16 writers who wrote on these movies,
Yeah,
and
definitely
they're
at this
definitely
point.
Frankenstein a little bit. So I'm sure a lot of that is in there. But Andrew, what did you think the first time you saw it?
I remember liking it. I think it's because of he felt younger than Tobey Maguire.
Even though, and it's kind of ironic
Yeah,
because
'cause
he's 29.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why I said he felt younger, which it's funny because on the behind the scenes, they're saying on how they wanted him to feel younger and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But it's literally the same thing where like in the second one, he's already graduated in high school and he's already graduated high school and he kind of moves on to
And
adulthood. or
everyone
whatever.
in the high school is 6 foot tall already.
But I remember this one, I think I liked because it was a little bit more of a love story. I think Gwen Stacy's kind of like his zen or like his like, because he's obviously grown up a loner and stuff like that, and
Awkward.
yeah and so she's kind of like his connection back to everything else. And so I and obviously Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone had the real connection too, because they didn't really have to act because they were really in love at the time. I think they ended up breaking up already, but
yeah.
Like Fred.
and Daphne,
Daphne.
from the other podcast. That,
I'm
you
talking
might not
about in
listen to.
real life.
Oh yeah,
They're still together.
yeah. Oh no, they're not still together.
The characters aren't
Andrew.
together?
Oh yes. I'm sorry. I thought you meant again.
Fred
I'm
Prinze.
confused
Yeah.
now.
Anyway, and so I like that aspect. I'm a big fan of Emma Stone also, so I think it's really cool.
Oscar winner.
Yeah, I know you really messed up their what's her face, the Hermione Granger.
Emma Watson.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, and so I ended up liking it, and I think I liked on how real it looked. He always does like a motion with like his when he shoots webs because it looks like he's trying to put momentum behind them, or when he like starts to web up the lizard and it looks fucking gross and nasty because that's what a spider
Yeah,
web
like he's
looks like.
spinning
And-
around him.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and
crawling.
so,
I will say that he and this is like just to show how iconic Spider-Man is and how seriously he took it. He watched videos of spiders
Oh, yeah.
and hired a dude to get him to like walk like
and-
a spider.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, and it shows really because anytime he crawls up a wall too, it looks fucking gross,
Like a spider.
Yeah, it reminds me of like something creepy
He
crawling.
hired a tarantula to teach him.
Yeah, it's like what is it? What's his name? Nicolas Cage basing his performance off of his snake
his
in
pet
Ghost Rider
snake,
2.
yeah.
Not so silly now, huh?
But and obviously the effects were real nice. It felt a little bit more like like an indie movie because there's no real big action piece up until the end where like all the budget went to the end. You know, they're climbing the tower and
The fight.
he's fighting. Yeah, exactly. And so I liked on how it was able to kind of hold off from blowing its load right away or whatever.
Oh my God.
Well, especially because I mean it's Spider-Man. Like
Yeah.
it had the '90s cartoon, it had the movies already super built up, and so it just surprised me as to how different it could have been, and it is a little bit more of a different take. So
Yeah.
It feels smaller, this one, because especially.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
We're obviously going to talk about it because I don't know if we're going to do it for this podcast, but we can talk about it on it. But it feels smaller and more. I don't want to say the word grounded because like it's kind of thrown around. I mean, it's a Spider-Man, so you can only get so grounded. But like it does feel like a whole different ball game. It's like what you said. The tone is like very different from the Raimi movies. The Raimi movies kind of have this very fantastical, classic, romantic superhero feel to them. Like they feel like
They created kind of a blockbuster genre themselves.
but they feel like, you know, they're kind of like a Christopher Reeve-esque Superman movie where it's like, you know, it's all about the romance and, you know, it's
and New York City.
it's grand, it's huge, you know, everything's theatrical. This one's kind of a little bit, you know, it's more based in relationships, personal relationships
There are
that Peter
just,
has.
I bet you, more close-ups in this movie.
Yes, and then there's you know, and then there's a mystery aspect to it, and then eventually you start to get into the grand Spider-Man lore, which eventually bleeds into the second one. But yeah, this one is even in the pantheon, you know, because obviously this franchise or this version of the franchise is now come and gone. This one still feels very weird in the entire like pantheon of Spider-Man flicks.
It is because I think it just feels a little. I mean, it feels even more unique because we've seen an entire trilogy of Spider-Man movies set in that world or
Right.
in that tone.
Well,
and
even
now,
the second one from this is like super like
different,
it ditches the tone of
and
this movie.
He's very honest about how difficult it was going from, you know, indie 500 Days of Summer to you now manage a small
Spider-Man.
company. There's like 600 people working on your movie
Yeah.
instead of just like 50. But
Instead of just Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I think I texted you like it definitely like one of his things is the melancholiness of it. 500 Days of Summer, spoiler alert, doesn't end the way normal rom-coms end.
Yeah.
And
La La Land.
it's very true. Like it's a very real look, and he equates a lot of it to like things he felt as a teenager, things that he wrote in his journal as a teenager, things he puts in the music videos he shot for Maroon 5
Right,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. So you get that in a lot of the aspects of this movie, especially when it comes to, I think I texted you like things are just life is complicated. So things are complicated in this movie. The bad guy or the bully is a bully.
Flash?
Flash is a
Flash,
bully
yeah, I love that.
because he's gone through some things, and we see that, and we're like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't hate this guy. I even all the way up to the end, like the idea that Gwen Stacy's dad's dying wish was for him not to be with Gwen Stacy. That complicates the fuck because you
Right, yeah.
expect it to be like, you know, the superhero gets the girl, like those melancholy,
Like the first Spider-Man.
bittersweet.
Those are very
Weird,
Spider-Man-esque tropes, though, because Spider-Man the book is like a kind of a depressing read. Like,
just can't
especially
be
depending
happy.
Yeah, it's like he's making everybody else happy without making himself happy, and that's what Spider-Man's dilemma always is.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, you know, and especially for this movie because it's set him at the beginning of high school, so like, you know, very high school-esque problems, and you know he's an orphan basically, like he's living with his aunt and uncle. And he's
Because his parents are spies.
we'll get into that, but like, you know, but which is apparently canon according to Roy.
Yeah,
so
it
like,
is,
you know,
yeah.
it's like so.
Depends on which canon.
Oh yeah, there's different.
Yeah, so like all of this stuff is super I think it's very Spider-Man-esque, and like now even just talking about it right now, and even watching it, like maybe this is the most Spider-Man-like when
Yeah.
it comes to the problems, at least as like an believability, other than Spider-Man 2, because I think Spider-Man 2 still gets a lot of the like the angst, right? Like, you know, nothing goes right for him at all.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 or
No, Spider-Man 2.
Okay, okay.
The,
I was
the
like,
Raimi Spider-Man 2.
okay, I didn't know which one you were talking
Because that
about.
one's like also like very like he's at one point he's like, am I not supposed to have what I want or something?
Yeah.
And like that's
Yeah.
a very Spider-Man-esque moment.
And you got Doc Ock, which is nice.
Yeah.
To
Yes,
play a
and then
foil.
also-
Well, I want to ask you guys just what did you guys think of Andrew Garfield being cast as a Spider-Man? Because he has to embody like a lot of these things without words, like, you know, just giving a look or
Yeah, and
or
we were talking
setting
about
that.
that, and me and John were having a conversation, and I was saying I like him as Spider-Man because of his like slender build. Like he's real.
Slender Man.
He's real not thick.
Yeah,
No, 'cause it's like
like-
because Spider-Man is supposed to be a kid.
Yeah, he's like a kid,
and
you
I
know,
think the
but-
design. You said you're talking about your favorite designs of Spider-Man.
Yeah, my favorite designs. And at the time, I started reading Ultimate Spider-Man, which had just started over at the time. Like it was like #1. They could change the story, but they had that whole like he's still in high school. He's real skinny. He has like the big eyes, you know, like the on the mask, and that's what I
He's like
really
an online photographer as opposed
Yeah.
to like you
Wow.
know, turning his pictures.
and that's what I really
into,
liked
you know.
about
Only
him.
fans.
But as Peter, he was all right. Like
That's true.
He's
Yeah,
a little
I was
bit-
thinking like I think everyone said this about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is that I think his Spider-Man is his Spider-Man's a little douchier than I remember it.
Douchebag.
He's kind of like a little bit more dickish. That being said, it's very Spider-Man like. Like I think he talks the most shit out of any
Yeah.
other Spider-Man person. I just think like he goes a little far in douchey territory when he's
Yeah, he
Spider-Man.
does.
But that
When
being
he
said,
bullies the bully.
that being said, that's a little bit more acceptable than Andrew Garfield's
Peter,
Peter is not nerdy.
he's
Like
hot.
he's yeah, that's what he,
But
basically.
also, but he kind of is though. Uncle Ben is asking him for help with the AC,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, it's this part. Like, I'll go to the hardware
like,
store." and
he
pick
can
it up."
talk.
Oh,
He
fuck.
could, yeah, he could like he has the knowledge of a nerd. It's just like I can't believe that person was bullied in school.
Yeah, like-
that
like,
person is
or he
bullied
did
in
not
school.
have a girlfriend.
It's the
Like-
only time he talks to Gwen is when he seems nerdy,
Yeah.
when he doesn't know what to say, or he's like, "I'm not going to answer that."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
He starts to
I-
get shy and fumbled up.
I
and
think
not like-
I will say he is.
He's too hot, basically, to
but
be like
he's
that.
modern.
John really likes Andrew
I know,
Garfield.
but I would say he's updated and modern nerdy. If you go to a school now, there is no one like the 60s, 70s Spider-Man nerd. They're mostly
they're
people.
stuffing into lockers.
They're mostly
and,
people who just can't talk
swirlies.
and act like Andrew Garfield. I know some kids on that age range who are nerdy, and most of the time it's just a lot of like mumbling
Reserved.
and quietly talking,
Well-
and that I think is what it's
the evolution of the
reflecting.
nerd. Is
See,
what
but
we're
then
saying.
but then if you go to Tom Holland's kind of nerdy. Like that's more of a '60s type of feel.
yeah, but the
like,
nerd came back
like-
around. I was kidding. Now
'Cause, like,
owning the Death
'cause
Star Lego set.
I just
is-
think I just don't think he's much. He's
Because Tom
relatable
Holland
as
is
a-
hot too. He's a snack.
he's all right.
What are you doing?
He's
He's
like,
a snack.
But yeah, but he's not like in the same type of like.
think he's-
his voice isn't like his. I guess maybe it's also that too because like Garfield has the same posture as like. His Parker has the same posture as Spider-Man, and I think like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and even like McGuire's is a whole different story, but like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, like his voice is like it cracks, when he's talking.
I think-
and, like it you can kind of tell like this could be
Yeah.
a shy kid, like
Yeah.
that
It's
one
like
just
Morty,
like
Spider-Man.
that dude is like the good-looking weirdo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in the sense, or like Garfield's Spider-Man is like a good-looking weirdo in the corner. You're like, that guy's pretty cool, but like,
Yeah.
he's not cool because he doesn't talk to anybody or something.
Yeah,
You know, it's
he
just like,
doesn't have friends because he doesn't want to have friends. Like people want to be his friend, you
but
can tell.
Kevin Smith said that and echoed it out. Basically, Kevin Smith was like, I mean, yeah, that Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield just can't play like nerdy because he doesn't look like a nerd. He looks like
Yeah, he
looks
can
like
talk
one of
it, but he
yeah,
can't.
he looks like one of the most popular people at school, and it's weird that he doesn't. Like,
He
he's not-
gets someone that looks like
Flash
Emma
Thompson,
Stone.
the guy who plays Flash Thompson, I think is shorter than Garfield.
He
That's
is.
the whole thing. It's
He's
just
a tall
like,
guy. Hey, he's 29 years old playing a high schooler. What can you do?
yeah, it's true. I mean,
Hey, I wanted Daniel Day-Lewis as Spider-Man, but
imagine
they
that.
said
He
he was.
probably
They said he was 1 year too old.
Michael Jackson was going to play Spider-Man, remember?
oh yeah, that
He
would
tried to
have.
buy Marvel.
I would have watched that. I'm just kidding.
Spider-Man? One of the first live action.
Well,
Spider-Man?
let's go on. Let's talk about Gwen Stacy. What did you think about Emma Stone as Gwen?
I love her. The romance was there. Like,
Dick.
I mean, it was real.
Yeah, it was real. That's what I said.
for
yeah.
me, her, and
Yeah.
then for her and Garfield.
Yeah. Not so much. Just kidding.
So Mark Webb talked about creating those moments, and I think he's just really good at it.
Yeah.
You see it in 500 Days of Summer, but before that, he wanted to be an actor, and then he became an editor, and then he became a writer, and then he became a director. But it started with this knowledge of how to make emote. And I think that he brings that to everything that he does because I think I texted you, like the relationships in this are pretty good. Like even the moments with Martin Sheen and Sally Field,
Right,
Like
yeah, yeah.
the moments,
human moments are,
the
like,
human
really good,
moments
yeah.
are really good. And I think he's
Be
given,
a man. Get in there and apologize. And you're like, oh, fuck. This sounds like
it's-
fucking crazy.
It's fucking President Bartlett
I
from
would have
West Wing.
started swinging on my
that,
uncle.
Even that robbery in the store is really well directed. Like it's just like you feel very
rough,
cringy because
yeah.
he's
This guy's
being
mean.
Yeah, and then you're just like, oh fuck. And then so when he actually does get robbed, you're like, fuck
him.
that guy.
Yeah, fuck him.
like, yeah.
Yeah, you lost that Yoo-hoo. Okay.
Who cares?
The fucking Nesquik.
What was he like 2 cents short or
Yeah,
something?
he was
Right,
2 cents
sure,
short.
yeah.
You can't afford your milk.
I've actually done that at my own shop before though, so like that felt kind of weird.
You've told them not to. They can't take the pennies.
No, I told him that was like, oh, you're 1 cent short, and then like it didn't hit me until after they left, and I was like, I probably could have just
What the fuck?
spot him that 1
I
cent.
worked at Starbucks.
I think
for-
it was the movie that made me stop.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna spot you for this flick because it sucks.
I got in trouble
shit.
because I worked at Starbucks and I didn't charge like 50 people in one day once because I was just like, fuck it. Because
and you got fired. That's
I didn't get fired. I didn't get fired, but they're like, man, we're running out of like stuff to make stuff, and I was like, oh fuck. I think I gave it to the dude who was like, we were talking. His favorite. He had like a bumper sticker with Spider-Man. Let's say. I was like, fuck, don't pay for your drink.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Oh shit, that's called stealing.
It's called Time Theft, baby. But-
Gwen Stacy though is
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think she's
Better than Bryce Dallas Howard.
she's at the heart of this movie
Wow.
because of the way the movie is central to the relationship between Peter and Gwen and
And the father. Like I think that's a huge part of it too. Is like you're close to the enemy.
Oh yeah, and
Captain
George
Stacy.
Yeah, George Stacy, Captain Stacy, played by comedian
Dennis Leary.
who
Who's
is,
from Ice Age.
I had a friend who was gonna make a movie, and Dennis Leary said yes. And this is something normal, but there was a certain amount of money that needed to be in a bank account for him to even.
Think. And
Like-
what was the number? Go ahead.
no, it ended up happening.
Everybody open your pocketbooks. This is how much you can get Dennis Leary on your
It ended up
pocket.
happening. Right?
Offline, I'll tell you the number, but
Dennis Leary
$10.
is notorious for being dickish. I don't know if you've know who Dennis Leary
He's
is.
I don't know if
Also-
you've ever seen Rescue Me, but that's pretty
a-
close.
yeah.
He's
Well,
a,
he's like,
it's
uh,
funny because he's a law enforcement stan off screen as well.
Right. But the thing is, but in this movie, it's kind of weird because, like, I mean, he plays I think even Mark Webb himself said it. He's like, yeah, Dennis Leary. The one thing that they would always mention about Dennis Leary is like he's got an attitude. They're like, but he's so good to, he's
Is
so
he a
good to
New-
watch.
he's a
Dude's
New
got a
Yorker.
mouth on him.
He's a New Yorker, right? I
He's a
think-
New Yorker. Yeah, I think so. And then he's also like, I mean, I've seen him get told off by another comedian, and it looked like Dennis Leary wanted to punch that
Yeah.
other person. Like, it
Because
was
the
like-
comedian was right.
Yeah, the
like,
comedian
that's
was-
the type
yeah.
of person
Yeah.
that he is.
And Dennis Leary is just like always has to get the last word, and that other guy just basically went off on him, and he was like,
His
no.
character gets the last word in this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's pretty perfect.
But yeah, so Emma Stone does great because there hasn't been that. Gwen Stacy kind of wasn't explored in the original movies. I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard plays her in Spider-Man 3.
But it's
And
after high school.
Right, it's
like
after
a
high school. and
Afterthought.
Gwen Stacy in the comics canon, in the original, the original comic books, it was Peter's first girlfriend, basically. Like,
His
it was-
first love. Yeah.
Yeah, his first love.
I think that's what's really important is the first love is really important. And then if you throw in Mark Webb, who is he's a romantic in
Right, yeah,
the films
yeah.
he makes, it's so good. It's like a good mix.
Yeah, and she's awesome. She knocks it out of the park. Apparently, she did a whole lot of research for it. Like, she went back and read Spider-Man comics because apparently she only knew about the Sam Raimi movies, and she was like, I thought Mary Jane was the only person that he liked, and that's like a further on down the line thing. She was great. I think she acts her hardest in this movie. She might be a little bit even better than Garfield at times.
Yeah.
She takes her role very seriously, and she has a hell of a screen presence. Like, she pops on screen in this one and in the second one. The second one's kind of a little wonky, and
But
to say the least.
But her moments are the best,
Yeah, her
especially
moments are the best
especially
moments,
the one
yeah.
that lasts
Especially
the longest.
yeah, because like we can just go ahead and say it. Like, the best moments of Amazing Spider-Man 2 are the human directed moments. Like,
Yeah.
the relationship parts of
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 are probably the best parts of that movie.
Mark Webb's strength. Like I think he's really good. And,
he should direct all of our relationships.
Yeah.
Just in general. Yeah.
I don't know because his endings are tough.
Oh yeah, shit.
I don't think he ever has just a regular ending. He's kind of like the Safdie brothers. And that have you guys seen Uncut Gems?
No, I haven't.
Yes.
The second I started Uncut Gems, I knew how it kind of was going to end because
Do not.
all of Safdie brothers movies end the same.
He just told us. Way
Why?
to go.
Why?
Because we know how Safdie Brothers movies end.
How does it end?
I'm not going to tell you because then I'm going to spoil it for...
with the credits. But yeah, let's stay in Peter Parker's family. What did you think about Martin Sheen and Sally Fields
Martin Sheen and Sally Fields.
as the uncle and
They're
aunt?
the most prolific actors that have ever filled the role of those roles.
Marissa Tomei won an Oscar.
I guess.
So did Sally Field.
Yeah, bitch.
Boom. Martin Sheen, Emmy, I think, and
Yeah, maybe.
he made Charlie.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Emilio.
And, yeah, Emilio!
They're really great. I think
I love them. Yeah.
I think Martin Sheen is great as Uncle Ben in this movie. He's kind of much more of a hard ass Uncle Ben,
Yeah.
which is kind of a little bit more believable.
Hard worker.
Yeah, 'cause
he's
he's
like,
like-
I dropped out of school when I was young.
but he seems to know, like, he's the moral center, like that obviously that everything that Peter learned from, you
Yeah.
know? And it's really cool because, you know,
But is he a hard? I don't think so. He left his parents behind. Like, or shit. Like he every time he put his foot down, Peter Parker's being a bitch.
That's what I was telling John. I was
Yeah.
like, he's so angsty against his like.
Yeah,
aunt
God,
and
they're just
uncle.
trying to help. God.
Yeah, he was just like always like mouthing them off. And I was
yeah.
just like,
Sally Field is great as Aunt May. I think actually really funny whenever you think of Aunt May in general, I was kind of thinking of a Sally Field-esque type of person.
Old.
And
God.
and then yeah,
Or like past the point of having a child.
right, yeah. And so Sally Field as Aunt May kind of makes a lot of sense. She took this role though because she knew that she had a feeling that it was going to be Laura Ziskin. Laura Ziskin is the producer on this movie.
Oh, cool. Oh, it was like a favor to a friend or something like
She
that.
felt that it was going to be her final movie, and
Damn,
And it
That's
was,
her
right?
final
Because she died
movie,
before.
yeah.
I
They were
heard
friends. They had produced a movie back in the 80s or something like that.
the
yeah.
weird thing is I think Sally Fields was on Howard Stern show, and she didn't speak too badly about this whole experience, but she equated it to like her character didn't really have much to do.
Much to do, yeah.
And she said that it was like fitting 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh my God, damn, Sally Fields.
She's like, I wasn't the main character. I'm an Oscar winner.
She did win an Oscar.
Well, the thing is, like, when people say something like that, though, I mean, you kind of get it. You mean, like, because she also,
She was just the grieved aunt.
right, yeah, and
yeah, she's like always waiting up.
People
Yeah.
like people.
Where are my fucking eggs?
Like, so in this movie, apparently, she probably had a lot to do more in this movie. I think in the second one, they kind of shoehorn her in with that hospital storyline, which is like,
Oh, yeah,
again,
fuck,
that's
that sucks.
someone looking at a checklist and be like, well, we need at least more stuff for this to do.
At this point in your career, this is the type of roles you're gonna be getting.
That's not it.
Supporting roles.
because she was in Lincoln a couple of years later. And
Supporting.
That's like,
I didn't know she had to gain like 20. She had to like.
didn't she
be
still?
Mara Todd.
Didn't she get nominated for an Oscar for Lincoln?
she
She
did.
had, she had to gain 20 pounds of muscle. Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
I did. Yeah, she's fucking bulk on it.
Look
I
at
heard.
my
Mary Todd.
pecs,
I heard
little man.
because Daniel Day Lewis was he's a character actor, so he's always like in the mode. That Sally Fields texted him and he like pretended to not know what a phone was or something
Raven.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. And then she was like
Very-
weirded out by this thing.
Like,
She was
what
like,
the? What's that?
they're great though. I mean, in these roles, like, again, they're not given too much to do past this movie,
But they were good.
but they were good. Yeah, they're great.
They were really good.
What? And I guess the last one. Oh, there's so many. There's a main villain, and then there's like
The lizard.
Dr. Kurt
then there's
Condos.
Khan, the corporate villain.
Oh yeah, the Oscorp stuff. The Oscorp stuff is the least interesting thing about
You don't
this
know
whole
or you don't want
franchise.
to know. That's what he says.
Oh, I was like, what?
It's the least interesting thing about the both Amazing Spider-Man movies. The
It's-
Oscorp stuff.
It's odd because I feel like and I'm sure this was true. Do you guys get the sense that because the MCU was built, you can see them building at the exact same
Yeah.
time they're building here, that they were also trying to do the same thing in a weirdly subtle way, like the with Peter Parker's parents, Oscorp, villains
so.
that we don't even know
Yeah.
like where they're coming from
the
yet.
Sinister Six were that's what they were
I feel
building.
it was like fast tracks and it's just
Yeah,
like,
see, like, I
that
think-
stuff was happening.
I think they wanted to do that subtly. I think after this movie, they're like, "Fuck it, let's just do it." Like, you know, because
The second one is much more, yeah.
right. There's no subtlety in the second one. Like they literally show you
Yeah.
straight up like a list of all the fucking villains. Like at
and
one
Mark
point,
Webb is a pro, so he won't speak badly about anyone. But
definitely not, yeah.
In hindsight, he says that there's so many things he should have fought for because he said that like the studio was like in it.
Yeah.
He's like at the
All
end of
the
the
way
day, you know,
in.
the buck stops with me. Like he takes responsibility for whatever. But he was like the pressure was
On.
to be like we need an Avengers in 2 movies or something.
basically,
you know?
yeah, and then you
I
can
mean,
see that happening.
You guys see it in this first movie. We were talking about it earlier, where like I thought the transition from like him just trying to find answers for Uncle Ben's death to being Spider-Man was 0 to 100 in like
Yeah.
5
he kind of
seconds.
forgets about it. Like he goes on
Yeah.
a personal vendetta, which is a very interesting. Like I
And
like the
I
idea
love that
of,
part.
Yeah.
yeah, like
The
someone's
tattoo.
yeah, because well, the cop even says it too.
It's
He's
very
like, the cop-
Batman-esque.
Yeah, the
like,
cop's like, this guy's on a mission. Like he's like hurting the same looking
Yeah.
people and stuff. And I was like, that's really awesome. And then
the next
when
second he's
lizard-
fucking looking at
yeah.
himself in the fucking mirror and
Yeah.
he's Spider-Man. I was
When
like,
the
oh
lizard,
shit.
yeah, when the lizard comes to power, I guess here comes to fame. He that storyline goes out the window and it's kind of dropped immediately, which is like, wait, why did that? I was like, that would have been cool, or like a little callback at the very end would have been him kind of like meeting the killer. and maybe
Yeah.
forgiving him or something.
You don't even find out in the second one. Like
Yeah.
it felt like remember in the Raimi trilogy where it was like, oh, this guy killed Uncle Ben, and then it comes back around. You're like, Sandman killed Uncle Ben, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit,
Oh, yeah.
oh fuck. And
that,
so-
that retcon.
well, and there's a lot of things that are similar to the Raimi trilogy that I didn't really dig, which was like I'm at the wrestling ring. I mean, I'm sure that's a classic trope even in the comics
Yeah.
where. He's sketching out the costume again, and I'm like, what the fuck? Or there was one that we had said earlier, and I was like, yeah, it happens. Oh, the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, the villain talking to himself, and they're in his two personas, and things of even the way it ends,
Like
where it's
the-
like with great power comes responsibility. I can't have personal
The
relationships. Sorry.
voicemail. Yeah, I feel like maybe those are the things that worked in the Raimi,
Yeah,
so they're like,
yeah,
well,
maybe.
those work. So why change it?
The Uncle Ben thing again, where
Yeah.
I totally see why the MCU Spider-Man doesn't even want to touch this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's
We've
just
seen
been,
it.
yeah, it's overdone.
Everyone
It's
knows. Like,
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
killing too many older actors on screen.
But-
Yeah.
It was cool to see him in a modern sense though, because Raimi's was kind of like right before the big like technology boom, and so to see him like being younger, using a cell phone, and kind of getting creative with more like techie stuff. This Spider-Man felt way more techie than the
His
Raimi
webs
one.
are techie.
and which it should be because it's in the
The
book
book.
like that.
yeah, that's what I like. He actually had web shooters.
shooters.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I mean Sam Raimi's felt like it could have, like it was definitely more horror movie almost esque, where he could have been Man Spider at one point. He could have just kept fucking mutating
Out
and
of his
then
butt.
yeah, what? Just shoot.
Shooting webs out his butt.
Shooting jizz out his wrists.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Quim.
What the fuck?
All right, we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna come back and play a game.
Oh, sweet.
All right, we're back from that break. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because we have 3 players on.
We braked so hard.
We break so hard.
We broke, yeah.
We took our the podcast union break. I'm just kidding. We're not. There's no rights here. This is a game called Fields, New York City, or Lizards. So
And you're gonna run out of one questions, aren't you? Like you didn't have like eventually someone's gonna pick just one category.
No, this is a different game than that. It's,
shit,
it's
okay.
very different. I'm going to say one word, and there's going to be a fast round at the end here. But I'm going to say one word, and you guys will say either it's Sally Fields related, New York City related, or related to lizards.
New York,
So-
Sally Field, Lizard.
Those are the only 3 answers you can have. There's 3 people here, so I'm going to have to turn my listeners on. My ears. I'm keeping track at the back of this cookie box. But here, we'll do a test round. This one will not count, all right? So this is how the game will work. And how about you say New NYC or something? I don't know. Oh, whatever.
New York.
And why?
Fields, New York City, or Lizards? Ready? Here's a test round.
Sally
I'll
Fields,
say,
Fields,
I'll say
forever.
Sally, and the answer would be
Sally.
Sally.
Fields.
Fields.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like Sally.
What?
The fuck?
That would be like the one. Here's
Oh,
another
I'm not
one.
gonna remember this. I'm just gonna say
What did you think it is? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the 3
I'm just
answers.
gonna shout them.
Fields, New York City, or Lizards.
Okay, cool.
Fields,
Let's
New
do
York
it.
City, or Lizards. If this works, it'll be on a Target shelf near you.
I might say
So
Sally.
is this like, when whoever, like the movie trivia game, like whoever answers first
Whoever
gets
answers first, unless you want to use buzzin.live.
I know, we can just do that one.
Okay. And again, I'm going to be using
Should
my
we use
ears.
Buzzin.live?
Should we? There's 3. I
Yeah,
guess
that's a good
let's
idea.
use buzzin.live.
Okay, all right.
Buzzin.live.
All
Exciting.
right, cool. Hold on.
I'm gonna use my brand new iPad.
Guys, you will have to answer quickly. Andrew is really good at buzzing and then
And I'm gonna have a bigger buzzer because I'm
And
on this
then
iPad.
buy- in
and
time.
repeating.
Here, you just repeat the question until he gets the answer.
Yeah.
Was it called buzzin.live?
Buzzin.live, and I have your game code when you're ready. Again, if you're at home wanting to play, you cannot.
What is the code?
The game code is 798094. 798094. And Andrew, I don't know if it's an advantage, but he's playing on an iPad.
Hell yeah, I am.
And Roy's playing on an Xbox. I'm just kidding.
Oh shit.
If you're at home, again, you cannot play.
Oh fuck.
Mine, the R is missing on my name. So, I mean, my nickname.
So we have J Money. I assume that's John. The human spied.
Spider.
Oh, nope. It says spied on my end.
I just said the R wasn't there.
Nice.
The human spied. Oh, I can rename your players. And Green Goblin, but spelled the way you think it is.
Green Goblin. Goblin that shit up.
All right, so here that's how you play. You hear that buzzer, baby? All right, I'm gonna reset the buzzers.
Oh, let me make my buzzer fucking huge.
Oh,
Here we
shit.
go. First one.
I got it.
Out. Here we go. First one. Central Park. John?
What?
New York City.
Yes.
You
All
should
right.
have said Sally Field.
Here we go. The next one. Small Forest. John?
What the fuck?
Small Forest.
He's doing it right before you answer.
What was the third question? Like
Small Forest.
See, no, it's over.
Sally
see?
Fields, New York City, or
I got
Lizard.
this. Pass it to me.
Lizard.
It's a lizard. I'm not going to say I'm about to say one. I'm just going to say it. So you guys have to really look at my lips.
Cool.
Mary Todd. The human spied.
Fields.
Yes, Sally Fields. This is fun. I can do things with my mouth. No one,
Hell yeah, you can. What that mouth do?
Wakanda mouth. Dude.
no one cut that out and make it into something. This is better. City Field. Andrew,
What'd you say?
You can't do that if you're gonna.
can I say it? Or
Yeah, I didn't hear it. What is it?
Why did you-
I said City Field.
He has a 33% chance of getting it right.
I see it like that could be a fucking movie. That's why.
He's buying time. Just say
No,
it.
I'm not.
Just say it.
It was, you said City Field? New York.
Yes.
Yes.
That's where the Mets play, baby.
I couldn't tell. See, I was like, that could be the name of a fucking movie that Sally Field was in. That could be where
Lizards
live. I was like, oh, I was genuinely confused.
Yeah, me too.
Places in the Heart. Andrew?
Sally Field.
Yeah, she won an Oscar.
You love me.
You like me.
Oh shit, you like me.
Godzilla. Andrew?
Lizards.
No.
What the
New York.
fuck?
That's New York City, baby.
Oh, City.
Oh, he's talking about
uh,
Zilla.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, but
Oh,
also,
I should have let you guys go.
Oh,
Whatever.
I guess. Yeah.
No
It's an
seconds.
iguana.
Yeah, he is not a lizard. Officially, Godzilla is the result of atomic
I
radiation
know it depends on which one you're talking about. you
mutating
fool.
a Godzillasaurus, a large theropod that
That
had
is
survived
Gojira. You're fucking wrong.
the extinction of the dinosaurs on Logos Island. I'm just kidding.
Godzilla is an iguana.
Yeah.
He-Man and the Monsters of the Universe. Andrew?
He-Man and the Monsters of the...
Masters.
Sorry, Masters of the Universe.
Oh, okay, I was like, what the fuck? This makes no sense.
Classic.
3, 2, 1. That's too late.
Sally Field?
No, second was Roy,
Say her name.
the human spied.
Nice. God. Aha.
Spider.
Yeah. Sure.
Lizards.
Yes. There's a character named Lizard Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You guys are all
It wasn't
tied
set in New York.
2 apiece. This is the last one before the fast round. Bill de Blasio. John?
Oh, shit.
New York City.
Yeah, that's the mayor
no.
of New York City. All right, this is the fast round. I'm just going to say these are all movies. So again, the answers are
all
Fields,
Sally Field.
New York City, or Lizard.
All right, ready? Here we
ready?
go.
Here we go. Rosemary's Baby. Andrew?
New York?
Yes. Rango. Roy?
Lizard.
Yes, definitely Lizard. I'll just let me reset. The Irishman.
My buzzers are
Roy?
working.
New York.
Yes. This is a lot faster and more efficient this way, huh? Steel Magnolias.
Fuck, my buzzer went off.
Roy?
What?
Yeah.
That was an accident. I was like, my buzzer went off. But I'm going to say New York. No, wait.
Andrew, you're
Sally
next.
Field.
Yeah, Sally Field. Still a really close game. Everyone's just within one of each other. Mrs. Doubtfire. Andrew?
Sally Field.
Yes. Midnight Cowboy. John?
Ooh.
Rango.
Rango.
New York.
Yes. The French Connection. Andrew?
I knew it.
Oh, shit.
Fast.
Sally Field.
No.
Fucking
John, you're
New
next.
York.
Yeah, shit. That was a
Chase
lizard
scene,
again.
motherfucker.
I was like, French?
King
New York's
Kong,
not
King
in
Kong.
France.
Oh, fuck.
John?
In New York.
Yes. John, you're coming up the rear. You were
He's
down
just hitting
2.
it. He doesn't even know the question yet.
The Lost World. Andrew?
The Lost World? New York.
No.
Oh shit! I was thinking about the city
you're
there.
next.
Lizards.
Yeah, lizards.
Why the fuck is lizard?
They're dinosaurs.
Dino
guess.
DNA.
Well, this isn't Jurassic Park. The
No,
Lost
no,
World.
that's a reptilian. That's not a fucking lizard. I'm sure lizard and
Oh,
T-Rex.
the Lost World.
There's a
yeah.
movie called Just the Lost World, and there are lizards.
Oh,
in it.
okay, I get you. I thought you meant Jurassic Park. See?
Curse of the Komodo. John?
Lizard.
Yes.
Now John's won.
He's winning.
No, he's won.
Absence of malice. John?
I told you. He didn't
Sally
fucking
Field.
win.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's just
running
buzzing
away
it.
with it.
I'm just gonna buzz it right now.
Shaft. Andrew?
New
No,
York.
Yeah.
he buzzed it before.
I know that's what John's doing.
I'm not. I actually waited for him to
All right,
do
I'm
it.
gonna wait a little. No,
That doesn't count.
I'm doing
I
what
have to,
John's
I have to
doing.
say the first syllable. Fantastic Four. Andrew?
New York.
Yeah.
Nah.
No.
Roy, you got to figure out a way to get past it.
I'm trying.
Homeward Bound. Andrew?
Sally Field.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is she sassy?
I was on. I
No,
have
she's
no
not.
fucking clue.
She's sassy?
Yeah, yeah.
Is she really? That sucks.
Angels in the Out. Andrew?
New York. Oh shit! I forgot.
John, you're next.
I could change my answer, but
What?
I already know.
New York City.
John, I
No.
said New
This
York
one- you
also.
know
What the fuck?
It's my turn.
No,
My turn.
yeah, it's
your
Roy now.
turn.
Roy?
South Fields.
Yeah,
She's not in it, but her last name is Field.
that's the worst.
That's what it was.
I
God
forgot
damn it.
that the
I actually
categories.
thought she was in there, and so I was like, I can't believe I did.
I
She
forgot
was not in there at all. Like
she's not in the movie, but I forgot that the category
It was
Fields.
Sally Fields, and it was just Fields.
it was
It's
originally
Fields.
just Fields, not Sally
You're
Field.
like the blank of dreams.
Roy, you're in it. I'll give it to you because I think you're eliminated.
Yeah,
But yeah, Angels in the Outfield.
Oh,
Because I think you're eliminated.
I'm buzzing. Like you guys are buzzing.
Super
Right?
Trooper. Andrew?
New York.
No,
No. Roy, you
know.
got it.
lizard.
Yes.
I've never
Broken
seen it.
lizard.
Broken lizard.
Wait, which one is this? Super Troopers, the comedy movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Cloverfield. John.
New York City.
New York City, baby. It's actually a pretty close game. Smokey and the Bandit. Andrew?
Sally Field.
Yeah. Wow. The stakes are high with this. This is the last one.
No, someone won already.
No.
Not me.
No,
Roy,
no.
Roy
They
you have
were-
a chance to come up the rear.
Well, he's out, but there is. There no. Let's
put
just
your
say.
brother down so
Let's
that they
just
give
say.
me and John-
Let's
Is it
just
tied?
say no one is.
Safe?
No one is safe.
Oops, my bad.
See, look, I told you. Didn't I tell you?
I actually
Yeah,
I had
fucking
my
proof.
finger on it. No, that's
Proof.
John,
He's disqualified. What's now? I get the first answer. No, just kidding.
Doctor Strange. John.
New York City.
Yes.
See, I told you.
John won
Didn't I
by
tell you?
2. You had the chance to tie.
What the fuck that means? That's not a win.
What was I at? Like 2?
You're at 6, and everyone else was over 10.
Whoa.
But guys, that's how you play Fields, New York City, or Lizards. I didn't have a anything for the loser,
Awesome.
Good.
but I can make something up right now. Let's see. You have to name all the 5
How
boroughs.
about you?
No, you either have to name all the 5 boroughs, Sally Field's sons, or 16 breeds
Did
of
you say
lizard.
burros as in burros?
Name the movies that Sally Field won an Oscar for.
I could just Google that right now.
One of them was an answer. Oh my god! All right, I'm not. I'm too hard now. But guys, we'll see you after this break. Welcome back from that break. We're right back at you, baby. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Wait,
Kirby.
wait. This is the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
First
yeah,
one.
yeah,
yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man. How exciting! What else?
Let's watch. Let's talk. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the Amazing Spider-Man
Wait,
2.
before we forget something, before we talk about the movie, this is
Jesus.
kind of an offshoot. I really enjoyed. This is my favorite Stan Lee cameo of all the Spider-Man movies.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know
It was
what
a lot
you're
of
talking
fun.
about. That Stan Lee cameo was actually pretty great. It's
Yeah.
actually really funny.
It's funny. He got a lot to do, and it had like purpose. It wasn't just like, oh, here's.
It kind
Stan
of
Lee.
reminds me of the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, where he's like kind of like talking in the background. He's
Oh,
very
yeah, yeah.
oblivious. Like, he's like kind of the janitor or something.
And his wife is Madam Web.
Yeah.
That's so
Or-
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about the
Oh,
rest
so
of it.
we can't not talk about the Amazing Spider-Man without talking about the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
The Amazing
Are we not going
Spider-Man
to do
2?
that movie separately or no?
Probably. I think we could probably just talk about it right now.
Okay.
I think we maybe going quadruple dipping into the Spider-Man universe might be a
Yeah.
little bit much. I mean, we're doing it for X-Men, so whatever.
We have
But,
to for that, yeah.
Well, because there's different eras. I think the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is easy to talk about because it is or at least for this episode, it's I mean, it's the same franchise. It's the second Mark Webb Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
It is very different from this one. It is
Like the tone.
the tone is it's a little goofier. It's obviously like way more. The action is upped up like crazy.
Movie fucking sucks.
It's
Oh my God.
You have you have Jamie Foxx playing a very hammed up version of Electro.
Very Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Everybody
Mr.
chill.
Freeze.
Is
Yeah.
there Rhino in that one?
Yeah.
Rhino was in
it
it.
was also like Poison Ivy or Bane from that
Yeah, so
movie.
like Paul Giamatti plays a rhino in that movie.
I crush, I kill you. That's
Paul
what he said.
Giamatti. I'm so
As
excited.
Alexi Sitsevich.
And the Green Goblin.
You have a
Who
Green
went
Goblin.
went full Goblin.
Yeah.
I
you
hate it.
You
I
don't.
hate it.
You're not supposed to go full Goblin like living under a bridge.
Yeah, I hated. I liked Harry, like the cast, the guy.
Dane
Yeah, Dane
DeHaan.
DeHaan.
Yeah, and I just hated the Goblin.
The best
Like,
part about the movie is when Gwen Stacy broke her neck.
No.
because it was.
Oh, man, it was a
Oh my
cool scene.
God.
No, because it was like straight out of the book, and so you're like, oh,
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah,
the
and
Goblin
like-
dropped her.
And
Like,
it actually,
That's why it was the
hurts.
coolest part.
Like, we've been watching it, like, the reaction.
'Cause
to-
Emma Stone.
When it happens. Yeah, it's actually very, the movie's a weird Frankenstein of a movie, though. Because, like, I do like the action scenes where he fights Electro, because I do like Electro Electro is a weird character, because, like, I kind of like the character when he's not in green and yellow. Like, to me,
Yeah.
it's goofy when he has, like, the sparks as a mask and shit. I do like the blue version of him, which was like in the Ultimate version,
The Ultimate,
like, where
yeah.
he like can basically absorb himself into outlets and then just
I
like,
like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then I think the imagery in An Amazing Spider-Man 2 got that right. Every time Jamie Foxx says something, it's like either shocking or it's like something electric.
playing the itsy bitsy spider.
Yeah,
or some
yeah.
shit,
So like
and
it's
you're
just like
oh,
it's a
no.
little too much, and I think like that movie. It's weird because like there's moments that actually really like kind of hit you in the feels, and I think it's the human moments again, like the way this movie is, but like there's less of them in the second one.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this before we started recording. I mean, the design for like Spider-Man himself, like that's probably the best costume he's ever had, other than the MCU.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's my favorite costume. Period.
He's got like huge eyes, and his color palette is like perfected.
It's like
he's,
super vibrant. He's
Yeah.
super like yeah.
Well, it did have to deal with a really fast turn, because I know that there's so many characters in this. It was one of the criticisms
Yeah.
for some people. It's like,
Right,
it's
they
too
went-
many. It's an overabundance.
They kinda
Spider-Man 3 style.
They repeated their like exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, they
mistake,
went
yeah.
back to like Spider-Man 3 where they're just like pulling shit out of anywhere, and then you can totally tell this movie only exists, or Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, only exists to set up more
Yeah.
Spider-Man movies.
Well, it directly is affected by the one we're talking about, because this movie made a ton of money. It was not a failure in any stretch. 750, more than that, I think. Like a ton of money. Definitely made back what they spent on it. And I think that Sony was racing with the MCU Spider-Man movie, which was coming out. And I mean, they had announced Sinister 6.
Right.
There's this kind of weird factory now too with superhero movies, and I would say just franchise movies, of these events you go to release looks at characters or announce casting or to show little sizzle reels. And Amazing Spider-Man fell into that same trap. They were releasing pictures of Jamie Foxx as Electro, announcing those kinds of things, because they all lead up to hopefully a really big box office weekend. And it's weird to think that factory is around, but the sequel is being made like less than a year from when this movie came out.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't a sit and wait and let's stew on the story. It was a fast track this. Marvel's, MCU is going to come out with their own thing. We got to get our thing out so Sinister Six can come out.
It's
And
dark
then-
universe, this bitch. Up.
yeah, and what ended up happening was, the opposite, and them kind of taking that, DC EU approach to the Spider-Man stuff that they actually had the rights to.
Crash and burn up in this bitch.
Venom, shit, what's the name of the vampire? The vampire?
Morbius.
The vampire.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think you're right. It was just a big rush of making
Yeah.
like a giant world in two movies.
Yeah, because there was supposed to be a third Spider-Man movie, and then that third movie led into like the Sinister
Yeah,
Six,
yeah.
which was supposed to be like the Avengers of
Well,
Spider-Man.
there was, remember
villains.
that post scene in Amazing Spider-Man where it was
one or two.
two,
Both
okay.
of them, I think. Yeah, right?
where they were walking
Yeah.
like in a.
We were talking, me and John were talking, we were like, who the hell is that guy? Because
That-
they never did reveal who he
the
was.
man
That
in the
guy apparently,
shadows.
the guy is named according to Spider-Man lore the Gentleman. That is the villain name of
The gentleman.
the thing, and it literally does look like the dude in that scene.
Yeah.
It's a guy who
Spider-Man Nor.
no, you guess
Oh,
what his
okay.
first appearance is? It's called The Gathering of the Sinister Six, and it was
Wow.
1999, so it's kind of a
Oh shit.
late
Recent.
character, yeah,
Late
basically.
bloomer.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was The Gathering of the Sinister Six was basically like his first appearance, and it's basically like a Nick Fury, evil Nick Fury type of dude.
It is because I think that's one of the things that was fairly new about the first Amazing Spider-Man is, the bad guy doesn't die. Lizard doesn't die.
Yeah,
like he
yeah.
goes to jail, and all of the other Spider-Man movies before this, they got took. So it was really interesting to see that. But I mean, now we know that it was just so that
Set it
Spider-Man can't kill anyone other than people he loves, apparently. And so, all these characters at some point were just all going to team up and try to take him down, which
Right,
is
yeah.
interesting. I don't know. I kind of would have liked to seen a Sinister
I would have
Six
too,
movie.
but I don't know how they would have done Doc Ock because like Spider-Man
Yeah.
2 had,
I perfected him.
it was like
Yeah.
perfect. Like,
They
you know,
could have
like,
done it like Spider-Verse.
It's true.
Just something out of left field that you didn't
I
expect.
think we're still
yeah.
moving towards a Sinister Six movie though. Like
For
definitely
sure.
with Venom, like in Morbius, and then you had like what's his name?
Toomes, Adrian
Yeah,
Toomes.
Adrian Toomes. Michael Keaton show
Vulture.
up in
and the
Morbius's-
Shocker.
Yeah,
There's like a new
the,
Shocker.
The Shocker, the Spocker, the Rocker, the Showstopper.
But
the,
it'll
the
be-
the chameleon, the Scorpion was in there
Scorpion,
too.
yeah.
It'll be with Tom Holland, which is honestly a win for
anybody,
for
for
everyone
everybody,
involved.
really.
Well, and to me, like, had there been a third Spider-Man movie or like a Sinister Six storyline, I think it would have been the coolest Spider-Man we would have to have seen because he would have to take down 6 people
Yeah.
by himself. Because obviously it wasn't
Yeah.
like the other way around where they were building a team for him that he could have to fight them.
Yeah.
It would have to be him fighting the 6 and having to kind of like it's
Yeah.
almost like Scott Pilgrim. Like, let me go
Yeah.
through all these fucking levels of bosses and shit like that.
There, I think though that if the main critique of the one where there were 2 villains, or the ones that had 3 was it's too much, like doubling it for a movie is interesting because I feel like Marvel spends a lot of time setting up. Like you've seen Thanos how many times? Like 16 times, and all the Avengers 40 times or something in each other's movies. And it's not like they're trying to introduce 4 or 5 of these characters all at once. Although Civil War gets close, I guess.
Real close.
Real close. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we're falling into the same discussion every time we talk about Spider-Man, which is like Sony has this ace in the hole that they don't know how to do.
They don't
like
really know how to
They can
do 'em
bluff.
really
They
well.
can.
They know that they don't make money.
They
but-
kind of like it's really funny because they get kind of too excited. And
Yeah.
you can kind of see the like history start to repeat itself. Like because obviously after the first Amazing Spider-Man, they got way too excited and they're like, let's build a franchise or
I
like
think-
a giant franchise.
I think they start really good, and then they just kind of like, whoa, let's do
They get
this and let's do
greedy.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they get
like
really greedy,
So
yeah.
I'm kind of nervous about Into Spider-Verse 2.
Yeah.
So because like the first one was like amazing, so like it's just like they always start off really good, and then you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, see, like that's a little nervous because you're seeing that with the integration of Adrian Toomes, which is an MCU villain, like into the Spider-Man,
The
universe and
Morbius.
stuff, and the Morbius stuff, which is, I don't think Morbius deserves his own movie.
I love Morbius, but I agree though.
Yeah, so like it's really
It's gonna
weird.
be
And then
smaller scale.
unless you're gonna be introducing Blade, you have no issue.
exactly, yeah. So
you
like
have no-
Morbius, I mean, could be a Blade villain. They could have just saved him for that, and it's weird that they're I mean, obviously, first and foremost, he's a Spider-Man villain. That's probably why he shows up there first, but. again though, like why? I don't know. It's just like
Well,
just because
Marvel
Sony
vampire
needs
movies?
obviously Sony needs like their own franchise and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess that's how you do it. You pull Spider-Man characters out, like Silver and Black. I think is also
They
gonna
have like
a
5
movie.
movies in the works right now. Like,
Yeah,
it's
and they're
just
all basically
ridiculous.
just about.
Get them all, baby. Get them all out
But the
there.
thing is, like, it's so weird though because if they're not good, then people won't watch them. That's
or
what
it's
I
like
guess
a
the
no
thing.
name. Like
Yeah, so like I think Tom Holland. You're right, Tom Holland, because he's sticking around.
he's gonna bring whatever.
He's gonna bring
clout.
whatever. Yeah, it's gonna bring asses to seats. Really, at the end of the day, which is what that you really
Hey,
need.
it'll take my ass to a seat.
AIS.
So like
Ass in seats.
that's gonna be cool and everything. But again, you're starting to kind of see what Sony
Yeah.
Is
it's
about
kind of what kind of
selling
like,
you that new PS5, $700.
they kind of like get very again they get too excited and they kind of end up like
A lot of
fizzling
the,
out.
a lot of the things that work in their repertoire of superhero stuff is a surprise. Into the Spider-Verse wasn't really it was a project they greenlit just so they can keep the rights of Spider-Man if they couldn't make another Spider-Man movie because they need to contractually keep making more.
Yeah, one every 5 years.
And they're like, well, we let them use Tom Holland, so let's just put some money together for an animated one because that counts.
Boom, Oscar.
And then it won an Oscar. It didn't perform great box office, but
definitely not.
I mean, everyone loved it, so they're gonna make another one. And then even like Venom, like there were so many things happening with Venom where they weren't even sure how much money to spend on advertising it, and it ended up being like one of the highest grossing movies of that year.
that year, yeah.
So a lot of like the surprise, and I think because of that, they're just like, well, hey, let's keep surprising ourselves.
Let's
and
keep
like,
throwing shit at the
Yeah,
wall.
there you go. They're surprising ourselves, which is like
Yeah.
a good thing. I think they're really surprising themselves lately on the quality of these movies. I don't know about Venom, but but Spider-Verse, yeah, definitely.
I think they're doing a
yeah.
Craven movie.
That's so Craven.
Yeah, see, like they're probably going to.
just do
Someone
one on-
says that Spider-Man says that as a joke in a
so
movie.
Craven.
He's like, that's so Craven.
It's
Neil Patrick Harris as Spider-Man, I think, in one of the games.
I
It's pretty
think
funny.
I think there's
Oh,
so
yeah.
many people that want to copy what the MCU is doing, even outside of superheroes, because that Monster Universe thing started. But people don't understand that the MCU started with a surprise. Iron Man was a surprising hit, and then the Hulk came out and it wasn't as big of a hit. And
No, definitely not,
Thor ended up working out okay. Like so much, the risks that the MCU took in the beginning worked for them. But
The
it doesn't.
risks too. Like if
they were
had-
big old risks.
yeah, like so, like
Tiggle big
I don't
old
think they
risks.
also
It's not
know
like they
'cause
had everything planned out from day one.
yeah, because I think even that cameo, that Nick Fury cameo, that infamous one that everyone knows at the end of the first Iron Man, was done as a reference to fans. Like I don't think they had any intention of making an
the-
Avengers movie.
Yeah.
The original one had a Spider-Man reference in there. Mm-hmm. Like
So-
the scene they didn't use where he's like, yeah, we have people crawling up walls
yeah.
and we have
Oh,
like
yeah.
and he started naming like other Marvel heroes. But
yeah,
I was like,
he
oh
did,
shit,
yeah.
Spider like he directly referenced Spider-Man in that.
And,
So-
but I think that was again though that was done as a nod to fans, and it wasn't like
Yeah.
it's not like on that day they're like we're gonna make an Avengers movie. Like it was just like this is cool for
They were
fans.
like, hopefully we make money or else we lose all our characters.
Yeah, exactly,
on the-
yeah.
They need to start watching Doctor Who so that they can give me the 3 Spider-Men
Yeah.
that have already been in live action in some sort of fucking badass
we can talk
Spider-Verse
about that.
movie.
I think everyone is also thinking that this Spider-Verse idea is going to come to a head with like the original, with Garfield and Maguire. I don't think that's going to happen.
yeah, well, I mean, I think it would. I think it would work.
I think those
but-
two people are done. I think definitely. I think it could work.
I think people. I mean, look how people freaked out when J.K. Simmons was in this movie, and people were like, "That was the best thing about that movie." And you're like, "Damn, that was an MCU movie."
Well,
But, oh shit!
I've heard talk like how Sam Raimi's gonna do the
multiverse.
Multiverse where
Yeah.
like, well, if he has that, he could do like
You rip into it.
Toby
yeah.
Maguire, and then next scene with Andrew Garfield. It'll just be a scene.
Maybe that was
you know,
the reason why Doctor Strange was taken when
Yeah.
they were trying to name Doctor Octopus.
and like the multiverse, and it has like people talking online. Like I've seen people getting excited about that. So it's just
Yeah.
like we could have it, but it's not gonna be a big thing. You know,
When
it's just
J.K.
like,
Simmons signed on to multiple contract films,
I just think like those
actors.
actors are done with it. Like it's like holding out hope that Ben Affleck will be back for Batman. Like at the end of the day, it's Ben Affleck who has to want to come back.
Hey, he is
but-
coming back for reshoots.
But also, as
He's not actually though.
Snyder Cut?
That they weren't going to do any reshoots or
well,
something.
he'd probably
like
do
that.
ADR. But
He's going to come back
Yeah,
for ADR.
yeah.
to be honest,
I mean, he
he's-
still has a contract for that flick though. That's
after
why.
Daredevil, he said he would never do a comic book movie again. And then, sure
He
enough,
came back,
Batman.
baby.
And that's why I was like, dollar signs will make anybody go
Yeah,
for that.
there's a lot of goodwill for Sam Raimi, so I could totally see them
And
coming back
people
for
wanna be-
for a little thing. But yeah, they're not going to make
Garfield
it.
was like
people-
fired off of the movie.
People
Big thing.
want to be part of history, MCU wise, for sure. Like
Gotta
that.
get some of that money, baby.
Yeah, exactly. They can. I mean, even if they're in it for like a second, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, whatever.
I think though,
sure?
if they had
Mickey
the 3
Rourke?
Spider-Man, I think that would beat Endgame's box office.
I think that's what Sony's going to end up doing.
I
really.
think they want to try to do that. I just think like the actors themselves, like Andrew Garfield, seems like he doesn't look on this time as like it was fun. There you go. Let's just say that. And the same thing goes for like Maguire. I think Maguire's like at that point. I think he's really too old, and I think it's like when
When you be
you're-
Jake Johnson Spider-Man.
Well, the thing is, like yeah, Jake Johnson, I can see him being like actually a live action one. Like he can be a live action version of the one that he was in Into the Spider Verse. But like I can't wrap my head around Maguire saying yes to this, nor Garfield, because Garfield I think was actually fired from the role. Like I think he was supposed to show up to a meeting.
Drug
and
test.
He intentionally didn't show up to a meeting because he said he was sleeping in, and then they fired him, and he was like, okay, hold on.
Money talks. That's all I gotta say.
Money does talk.
I agree. I agree. Also, yeah, you never
until
say
it
never.
doesn't, because like Mickey Rourke.
Nah, money makes the world goes round, bro.
I don't know.
I think anything's possible now. Like that Spider-Verse thing blew the whole thing
They
wide
offered
open.
Norton a lot of money too to do the Avengers, and he didn't.
Yeah, I think there's just gonna have to be like I mean, we don't know. I think if it depends how hard they're gonna go for it, if it adds anything.
If
It may not add anything.
Oh, it's Sony. It don't have to technically add anything.
Like
it just has to have style.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It is a door open for that Sam Raimi's in the MCU. Like that's a big door open.
Sam Raimi, I told you, J.K. Simmons.
J.K.
It's fucking
Simmons.
crazy.
I'm
It's getting weird now.
Do you think that do you think the Spider-Man iterations now is closer to like the different Supermans that there were only like two Supermans
Or Batman's.
or Batmans? I guess is closer to it.
We're seeing too many of them as well.
Yeah, see, I think there's you run the risk of an overexposure. Definitely, I think like
that's why Miles does so well, because they're like, fuck, thank God.
yeah. See,
Could
like
be anyone.
I don't
Different.
mind.
Yeah.
See, I love Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know if I could say the same for like the two Tom Holland movies, even though they're great. They're great movies, but like one of them.
They all both of them have other Avengers in them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, and it's also like
they're-
I
They're not
mean,
Spider-Man
we
movies.
also have our own. I think me and Roy were
MCU,
talking. We have
baby.
our own kind of like gripes with the MCU Spider-Man and how he's kind of built in, but that's just the way the character is.
and his
there.
Iron Man suit.
Basically,
Yeah,
like
pretty
he's
much.
Iron Boy, like basically in a way.
Oh, shit.
But like the Spider-Man can stand alone by himself. He doesn't really need other heroes to
Yeah.
like cameo or like get people excited. Like it's,
But Into the
now,
Spider-Verse is like very,
does.
very different to
Yeah.
the point. Like I want to experience that over and over again. Like Into the Spider-Verse is like so awesome.
I mean, and the PlayStation video game too was the
PlayStation video game was
it was
like-
a super unique take on like his a different Spider-Man that worked like crazy. It was really
College
really
kid
awesome.
Spider-Man.
It's what the Sony universe wishes that it
Yeah,
were. They did
definitely,
the
yeah.
Sinister Six, and you're like, oh fuck.
There's definitely some weird gameplay happening with the character, like when it comes to story, because it. I mean, I don't know this as a fact, but I feel like most of the MCU Spider-Man stuff is they're trying to make it inseparable from the MCU. Does that make
Right,
sense?
yeah,
Yes, yeah.
Because then anything Sony does, they have to like mention Iron. They have to mention all of the stuff that they got to use.
the blip.
And there are like the contracts do specify like this is how many minutes that another Avenger can be with
be in this,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
So there's all this weird stuff that's going on. But so Disney just has to buy Sony. And that just has to happen.
Yeah, and then
I think
you're gonna
Sony's a
get the,
bigger company.
just
right?
kidding.
You're
I
gonna
was
get
like, Sony's bigger.
Disney's PlayStation 6.
I can look it up. I feel like Disney's pretty big because of the
But
theme
Sony
parks.
has like technology and shit that they probably sell to military.
Walkman.
Yeah, but how many fridges do you buy every year?
Don't they make like
I told you,
software and shit?
It's
like,
gonna be dead. Disney.
It'll be like Sony's $30 billion
no, but like Sony
company.
does like
Disney's Walkman.
Disney only makes content. Like Sony makes like
Well, Disney's
technology.
Disney's cruise and theme parks make a fuck ton, and it is worth Disney is worth 3 times Sony, so they can buy Sony
it's weird.
in a
profit.
heartbeat. But I mean, when I go to the shareholders meetings, those fucking theme parks make like I don't
Say
even
the exact
understand.
amount.
I can't say
cent wise,
but they don't. For Disney, the box office is a blip in how much money the theme parks and cruise ships make. But the way the CEOs think, the reason why people go to theme parks and cruise ships is because of the movies.
yeah.
So let's invest in them.
because they're big billboards for
But
theme parks.
they don't care if they honestly don't care if Avengers makes $2 billion. They make that in
That's why
2
they've been-
weeks.
That's why they've been
in-
losing a shit ton of money with all of this closed down.
Yeah, but Disney is worth $130 billion, and all of Sony is worth 45. So, which is interesting. So they can
Microsoft can buy Sony.
You can buy a damn Disney TV soon, maybe.
Right? That's about to say. I was like, they're Disney. What else do they make?
But
PlayStation
maybe
6.
Apple buys all of them.
Yeah,
Apple,
fridges.
The
Apple,
Disney PlayStation 6.
Apple is worth $1 trillion,
Yeah,
so they
Apple's
can
worth
probably
much,
buy everything.
Maybe.
So this is capitalism, baby.
Yeah, it's awesome. Isn't this a great world we live in, guys?
Yeah. Technically, their evaluations have gone up
bought
during
an
COVID, which is insane. Look at you. Look at you.
They own
Thriving.
you already.
This is becoming weird. We need a superhero like who can fix corruption.
A communist?
Captain
He
Commie.
hates materialism or materialistic consumption, consumerism.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I appreciate the idea that Sony has a basically one of the best Marvel characters,
yeah.
in their repertoire, and that they get to keep doing it over and over again as often as they want.
Right, true. And then they will fail upwards. We've already seen that. So
Oh, do you remember when like Sony didn't have Spider-Man or wasn't gonna let? Remember that whole thing that happened like a couple months ago?
Yeah,
yes,
I
yes,
knew it was
when
gonna
they were
blow
going
over.
to-
I knew they were gonna like.
the thing
Andrew
is,
was
like,
signing like all these change
well, that's
petitions.
so crazy though, because like that. I remember told you too. I was like, "This is gonna happen,"
Yeah.
and it might happen again. I feel like in the future.
Well, we had a
'Cause, like-
conversation. Let's do a pod on it, and we were like, maybe let's wait a week.
and then it happened. Like it actually happened.
And that's
we were
what I said. I said
"Whoa."
money talks. Everyone thought it was definite when Sony was like, "We're done," and I was like, reconsider.
And then everyone was like, oh, maybe it was just a big old fake news ploy to
Yeah.
negotiate. And oh my god, who
I
knows?
honestly
We'll be-
think that if Sony would have doubled down, they probably would have just like. I mean, the only
fine.
reason I think I think someone at Sony obviously thought that like we might lose money on this because no one's gonna come see this if it's not connected to these other fucking things.
and,
Johnny
that-
Manziel.
and that's why all the Avengers are in all of all Tom Holland movies.
They're
Because
just gonna pair up Spider-Man and the Hulk. Fuck it. Hulk doesn't have anything else to do.
fucking do it. He's not gonna die ever.
Man in
Anyway,
the chair.
some
Hulk.
last minute thoughts on the Amazing
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I really like his costume. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
And I think Roy had some specifics or like the way Spider-Man swings in this movie.
Yeah, it's really good. Like the way he fights was a lot more like he was flipping, he was crawling. The last scene where Andrew walked in, I think. I don't know. Did he walk in?
Yeah,
But I was talking like I like how this fight, he's just like moving around really crazy. Like
yeah. He moves around like
When
kind
a
of
lot of it
spider
was
and
shot
kicks.
practically, which was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
awesome. I remember that was some of the very first footage or pre-production footage that I saw trying to hype this movie. It was leaked, obviously, where they were swinging underneath the bridge and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I was like, man, it's even the scene where he's kind of like training up his senses when he starts skateboarding to that music montage. Where he ends up going up and grabbing the chains, and I was like, "Oh, this is a really cool way to kind of introduce like the fact
Swing.
that he's gonna be like the Tarzan swing,
or like he
Or
gets
he's-
one chain and he goes the other chain
yeah,
and
the
he's just
vine
like,
thing or whatever."
Tarzan swing.
Yeah, and so I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Like I did like aspects like that, but yeah,
Right.
I love that it was practical.
Those montages were really good, and it leads again to like what Mark Webb does well. He started in music videos. I don't know.
For you,
Like that,
shit like that.
Yeah, he was making music videos for songs like that. Like he probably had like a playlist in the script. Does that make sense? Like it's part of the tone and the mood that he does in his movies, to make you a little sad.
I think I had really good
makes sense.
montages because even when he was searching for like that killer of his uncle,
Yeah.
I like the whole like he's hunting down all these different guys, and I really liked it. Yeah.
Just super, yeah, oh, yeah.
I just like then the design is just really cool. Like I like his reflective eyes. Like
Yeah.
that's really cool.
And
That's
in the second
Looks
one,
like
he
a
has
Power
the best
Ranger.
suit.
That's why
He
I
has
was
the
like-
best suit that I've ever seen.
That's what I
in
said. The second
one.
suit. I mean
I
the
like this one. He looks kind of like a Power Ranger. It's pretty funny.
I didn't like the gold in his eyes, but
I like
it.
the
Looked
gold
like
in his eyes.
it was like an
Pretty
iPhone 6s Plus.
It's because I don't know why. Because
Gold
when
with
this
the
one
gold.
stands still, it's like the least looking CGI one. If that makes any
yes,
sense.
yeah, it looks
It looks
really
like he's
good.
gonna go luging.
Because all the other ones have the CGI kind of like build about it, even, especially like Holland's, because like the eyes
Oh
move
yeah,
and stuff.
it's a suit. It's like
Right, yeah. But the this one, for some reason, when he's standing still, it looks like it looks like a dude,
Yeah.
like who's actually in there with that suit.
Somebody's been a bad loser.
Yeah, when he starts moving around and stuff, you can't. Every Spider-Man does that because you can't have a regular human,
Crawling over a
crawling
CG.
or no, just moving like Spider-Man does, because Spider-Man like hops and flips and like does all these things really crazy, and then so like all of them look CGI like that. But when this one stands still, it doesn't look like it's like a just added up a CGI character. It
Yeah.
looks like an actual person, and it looks really cool.
Talking about CGI, I was telling you I did hate those parts where it's like first person view.
Oh, the POV shots.
yeah, like I hated them. They could just take them out.
I dug them, but I
Don't go
think
to
they've
porn.
probably been. They probably should have done more. I think at one point that was promised. Like obviously, like just because this movie was shot in 3D. I think at the time only
yeah.
Avatar
Oh, yeah.
had been shot in 3D or something like that.
like with two.
Yeah. And so in this one, I know that they were trying to hype the POV shots, and I think they didn't
Yeah.
they didn't make as much as they were advertising.
I think
in
these
other
were
words.
these were the first movies to be filmed on some camera.
Yeah. It was something.
Like some
I think it was like
Ari or
Cameron,
Red or something. Yeah.
and I think Cameron consulted on like the way it's like supposed to have been shot or something.
I did. I think that's part of the. I mean, like I know that we were like, oh, it feels different, and it's focusing on things, but there were some big choices in the way that it looks too. I think that Sam Raimi filmed with wider lenses and obviously inventing that spider cam to make New York seem like its own different world. When here we have like freaking long, like probably like 50 like long ass lenses, a lot of close-ups and
close-ups,
shit,
yeah.
crying, hand touching, like shots through windows and through things. It was very, very moody. But I mean, that's the movie that this one is. That means it almost feels, and it's not necessarily a Manhattan movie either. Like it's New York City, but New York City is like 4 boroughs outside of Manhattan as well.
Donkeys, if
Right,
you will.
yeah. It's just something you lose.
That makes sense. Like it's not. You're always next to the Empire State Building.
Yeah, and you lose that in the Holland movies, which
Yeah.
is for obvious reasons
Like
because it was kind of done like a lot
Yeah.
in these other movies. But you do, you don't have that New York scale like the way.
And it's got the MCU like colors space.
Yeah, that's totally true. This one's pretty cool in compared to the second one. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Second one's kind of a little bit more grand, and there's a lot more New York in that one too. It's
I think he moved to New York, right? Like after he
yeah,
graduated.
after that, yeah, that was pretty
The
cool.
fight scene takes place in Times Square.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so that's pretty cool.
New York City,
nice.
baby. Cool.
It's a pretty
Well, hey,
last minute thoughts. I guess.
yeah, let's go around the horn and talk about what our final thoughts. Roy,
I love the
Roy, let John go first. I'm just kidding.
Well, I love the movie just because it's more like a more
Into-
comic accurate Spider-Man with the web slinging. We're talking about the thwips.
Yeah,
you can really hear the thwips.
Like, yeah, you can.
Watch me whip. Then watch me,
The thwips don't sound like a kind of like
Oh
a
my
jizz.
God. What is
it doesn't
happening
sound like
right
a jizz
now?
Thing, right?
Doesn't sound like
I mean, we're joking around, but that's the way they
ejaculate
sound.
coming out
Like
of
in the other
peen.
ones, like it's like a weird squeezy sound. This one, it sounds
Yeah.
like a gun. Like it's like pew, pew, like it shoots
like a pew pew, a little bit
Yeah.
of pew pew.
more like a thwip.
Pubes.
Oh my god.
Go on, Roy. Sorry.
You go right now. He's just laughing.
It's and sometimes the cars sound like honk honk instead of
Honk,
vroom vroom.
I didn't talk a whole lot about the lizard, but
I think that was
we
one
did,
of the
yeah,
big
right.
pluses for me. I think
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
beginning, I
the
was like,
lizard,
man,
It's good. You wore the lab coat. I was like, cool.
it works
Yeah.
too because they work in that building experimenting on animals, and we see that fucked up rat eating another
and
rat.
yeah.
I
I mean,
appreciated on how good, like, kind-hearted he
Yeah.
was before turning into the lizard. Where
then
he was like, "Don't target that VA hospital with soldiers that are missing limbs.
We didn't
Like,
really,
test it on me instead." And so he tested it on
Yeah.
himself, and then he
when
ends
then
up
he
turning
sets
evil.
up an entire lab like in the sewers and shit.
But that's what I'm
like,
saying.
it's
That's the,
so lab.
that's the lizard taking over, though. Where
Yeah.
the lizard's like,
totally
"Fuck
true.
humanity."
Yeah,
Like,
we find that like the
I'm
outlets
evolution.
and the
but
routers.
we also skimmed over, I think, one of the overarching themes of the thing, which is the search for his parents, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
the biggest thing. And
the secret agent parents.
and how good was the writing? Guess what? How they introduced him as a child? He was playing hide and seek. Boom. Still haven't found his dad. Oh shit! Like that's
Although they
just
never
like
found him.
the
That's totally
ultimate-
true.
But like that's one of the things. I don't. Was that a? I mean, I guess it's a world building thing, but also a really interesting thread.
I think it was marketed like that, like the story
Yeah.
untold.
Yeah.
even though there
And
wasn't.
the second one's the origin.
I think they leave a lot
right?
of stuff untold. Like
they totally did, and it's kind of weird. I mean, I think. Yeah, I think the only
Franchise.
reason we gloss over that is like that's not really that interesting to me. I guess.
And
Like,
also,
you know,
yeah.
Who cares?
Well, it's just also because like I know you're trying to make a
No,
like the
I care.
The way Roy said, like there is a air of mystery to Peter Parker's parents in the comics too, as well. Just to me, it's not the most interesting storyline in my opinion because you can get all that from an Uncle Ben type of thing.
yeah.
And if you think about the second one, you have that whole thing happening, but
Yeah.
then also the 3 other new
Right.
villain. Like it's a lot.
And the second one, it's also weird though because then you get into like a it's like he was always meant to be Spider-Man.
Yeah,
or
like
something?
predestined. Like it's only in his DNA. That,
Damn it! I was gonna say that in my final thoughts.
Too
Way to
late.
go.
I got it.
It's just like it's not like
It
that's
was
weird.
predestined.
Yeah,
Stan
I
Lee.
don't like the way it was. The like he felt like he was like, almost like catered to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like your parents studied spiders, and what a coincidence that Spider-Man.
It was your your dad's formula that made
that made you make the spiders that could fucking I don't know whatever the fuck.
Kind of make like
Get
super
you.
soldiers.
Yeah, that you got.
And then I saw the formula. It was just 0, 0,
Yeah.
cross.
The limit does not exist.
The urban dick or the
urban
decay the decay factor, like what was it called?
Oh, the decay algorithm.
Yeah, the
And I was
decay.
like, ooh, you just slapped some big words on there so that we don't ask questions.
No, but here's a crazy thing though. Like in the comics, they retconned the spider. Like even if it wasn't radiated, he would have still got powers. That's
Yeah.
where they brought the whole Spider-Verse thing in, where it's like it was actually the spider who chose Peter, and
Ugh.
being radiated or not, he would have gotten the powers.
It's like Aragog
yeah,
from Spider-Man. I mean, from Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
I mean, I guess it is true. Stanley he is the god of predestined.
Yeah, heroes, right?
It's like, wait, didn't he want Spider-Man to be a fly or something weird like that?
It was like
Flyman.
Mosquito Man. Or
Yeah,
something
he
like
wanted
that.
it to be
Yeah.
something else. That someone was
Mosquito.
like,
That's so funny. It's like literally as simple as that. He was just looking around the room. And
oh
like,
yes,
hmm.
yeah.
He's in like a super old room, like with a bunch of cobwebs.
Yeah.
Like,
he looked at
Spider-Man.
himself in the mirror. Person man? No, that doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Vent Man. He's looking at a vent. He's like,
Head man?
nah.
Glasses man?
That reminds me of The Simpsons, where they're trying to make a superhero, and there's like a bag. He's like Batman. Oh no! And then like there's like a lantern.
I remember there's a funny one where he's trying to make up a fake name and he sees a home. He's like, home? Simpson. Like he's like, damn. Oh wait, maybe that's Family Guy.
It was Family Guy.
Yeah, Peter Griffin.
Peter Griffin
yeah.
is like
And he
Pete.
sees a griffin.
Yeah.
it's so fucking funny.
Anyways, we've definitely gone on too long
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
We're just doing Family Guy bits.
Yeah, final thoughts on the Amazing Spider-Man. My bad.
Mom. I'm kidding.
It's an interesting watch, definitely, because this is a weird there's a weird chapter in Spider-Man's cinematic universe or cinematic history. So this one deserves to be because it has like
A movie.
well, it's just like it's this one. Roy's right. This one is actually really good. There's some things that this movie does better than Raimi's own trilogy. Like maybe in the angst. This is the most angsty we've had. This is the most angsty we've had. Peter ever had. Because the Tom Holland Peter Parker apparently has no tragedy in his life.
Lots of pent up.
The Sam Raimi one, Tobey Maguire was a single tear person. Like he would just basically kind of just like get sad and have his eyes water up.
And then
this
he
one-
was the dancing
Dancing queen.
the dancing domestic violence Peter Parker.
Like, this Peter Parker, like whenever shit hits the fan, for some reason he has to howl.
Yeah.
Like he just like gets all mad and screams into the night and shit.
emo,
And
screamo.
like and so this one's like the most angsty and like actual like
Yeah.
conflicted
Pent up rage.
Yeah, Spider-Man we've
Pent
ever
up
seen.
sexual emotion.
I'm gonna fucking skateboard this out.
I'm gonna shred the
that-
fuck out of the street.
It's
That
cool to
happens
see
in the
him
movie.
fight like the lizard, which is like
Yeah,
an
right
awesome,
when he dies.
Yeah,
Or
it's
when,
just like,
A really awesome sequence where he starts to crawl on the roof, and then the lizard crawls on the roof also, and so they
Wow.
start
Yeah.
fighting.
And the lizard,
on the roof.
the scariest part with the lizard is when he just like barely puts any effort, and then like cuts
him, yeah, exactly.
Spider-Man's chest
Nowhere
open.
to
That's the-
hide, Peter.
that's the awesome
I'll
like
have it cut my nails.
What?
what would you you like turned Irish like right there. Good movie though. I would say to avoid the second one if you've never seen this one, but like you would have to kind of watch them back to back to know what the full the intention was. There you go of this franchise.
Yo.
I really like the cast: Sally Field and Douglas, and Stone and Garfield, and
Wow, just last names, huh?
Yeah.
Douglas.
oh shit, Sheen. Sorry, I was thinking Michael
Douglas.
Douglas. Yeah,
More old white
yeah.
men.
That's not Hank Pym. We're talking about the other insect. Or it's not insect. Arachnid.
Wait,
Anyway.
you almost got canceled for calling spiders insects.
Yeah, no, racist.
Speciest.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, I like the Sam Raimi, the 1 and 2 better than these, but that's
I think
because
that-
I think it has more in line with the fact that they're similar to Superman movies, which my favorite Superman. And not to mention that was the first one to kind of kick it off with X-Men, and so you can't go into this movie and not think of those old movies. And so
The documentary showed you a bunch of fucking
oh
footage.
yeah,
from it.
for sure. They couldn't shut up about how this should have been Spider-Man 4. But yeah, it's very interesting just to I mean, maybe I would like to see what it would have been like if this one had released first, and then have Raimi do his thing, and people would have been like, oh shit, this is fucking weird. Like, I don't like this one.
Yeah.
Because Roy's right. Maybe this one is a little bit more comic accurate, and I mean, since when does Raimi fucking taking liberties with that shit? Like, the web comes out of him,
And so many people copied after Spider-Man. All of these movies tried to be Spider-Man, like right at all, and they were all mostly superhero movies too. They were like, damn, blockbuster. No one's ever made that much money ever on any movie, but especially a superhero movie. Let's just do more of that. Let's not give our rights to B movie productions. Let's fucking shop it to Sony and shit.
I had small little nitpicks that I just didn't like because that's just a personal opinion or whatever. Like I wanted the lizard with the snout. I didn't like on how many things were similar to the first Spider-Man. I didn't like that he seemed predestined to be Spider-Man. You were born to be this, instead of just kind of randomly getting bit by a spider or whatever.
Oh, and he's a Palpatine in this.
Yeah, exactly. He ends up being a Skywalker or whatever the fuck.
His mom drew a shirt.
Yeah.
It's the spider symbol. It's just like
and how quickly he became Spider-Man, stuff like that. But I mean, it's still fun, and I think it'll probably be better than most Spider-Man movies in the future. Because I'm sure this character, it's people gravitate towards it. Like, why people are like, oh, Sony will sell the rights. I was like, why would they sell the rights? Like, no one would want to let go of Spider-Man ever.
It's money.
Yeah, exactly. And so if Sony carries on where they're going, I'm sure there will be a bunch. This movie will be better than most.
They're
Spider-Man.
doubling down right now.
yeah, I mean, there's already like a third Spider-Man actor, which is kind of crazy.
I definitely appreciate this film. I think I think they definitely focused on the relationships between the characters. I even remember now that even the first Spider-Man movie, you just trusted that Mary Jane and Peter liked each other.
Yeah, would get together.
No matter what. I don't even know, but here they went and
She walks out of her marriage.
Well, and that's true. Like and you just trusted it because they were meant to be, and they liked each other. They were a little cute. But this movie takes that relationship further, and she knows he's Spider-Man. They have many moments where you trusted that it was like actual relationship growing. So basically, like showing your work when it comes to a love interest, which was nice. But yeah, I think this is closer to a Mark Webb Spider-Man movie than the next one, because he was able to spend the time on that. And we talked a little bit about the next one, but I don't think he did. Yeah, I don't think he
totally studio driven. You can totally tell.
Stuck their fingers all orifices.
in all 8 legs. But I appreciate this movie. It definitely occupies a special place, and it's a little weird because there was one that just came out. There wasn't a lot of rest time. But
definitely not. Yeah,
it didn't affect, I think, watching it now and the way it looks and the way it's unique to everything else. And I mean, sad. That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean,
sad is cool.
Sad is cool now.
I think it's also the whole situation of this movie is kind of a little sad. I mean, even the way it came about too, or when Amazing Spider-Man 3 was canceled. I mean, they immediately just said he was going to be in the MCU.
I was a little depressed when I found out about that.
And it was so quick too. Because it's just like, you know what, we're rebooting him again. And then I think everybody at that point too were like, really? Because I remember we're right in the middle of the MCU at that point. I think we had Age of Ultron or something was about to come out.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, another Spider-Man? Like, really?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he's going to play with Iron Man. They're like, but another one, though? Why don't you just grab Garfield and put him with, with these other ones? And it doesn't really work that way, though, because you have to have someone who kind of, mixes well, chemistry-wise with all these other ones.
It's such a big role. And it's kind of like when we talk about Wolverine being, that's like a Superman-esque role. It's a iconic.
Well,
whoever Spider-Man is.
What's weird too about it too, because for all that stuff to go down, Emma Stone, obviously went on and did Oscar-winning shit, and then Andrew Garfield, was technically just taken off of the role, and it was kind of a little weird and kind of sad in a way if you think
and
about
Mark
it.
Webb went on to make smaller
movies after
shows, and stuff that he's really good at. So yeah, it's a very interesting thing. But this is the definite, and I think listening to this pod, Mark Webb understands it's a big studio movie. He's like,
Right.
I take responsibility for everything that happens, but you have to be okay with feedback. He said that, a lot of people come out of film school thinking auteur theory, but he's like, that you collaborate with 600 people, and you have to trust people, and sometimes you end up with something that
Doesn't work
You
sometimes.
fight 10 battles, but there's 40 in every day, so
Yeah,
you
mhm.
know that 30 of them are going away. But yeah, this is a big movie, technically successful on many metrics.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I guess it just didn't make $1 billion.
Yeah, I think sorry, I had to sneeze. That way you don't understand. You don't wonder what the fuck that was.
If you heard a sneeze right after John stopped talking, that's what it was.
There was no sneeze. I like hid away. Anyway, I lost my fucking train of thought. Oh,
Me
it is a
too,
bit. I
me
mean,
too.
I think the box office from the second one, even though like the second one was not a box office like bomb by any means, it just wasn't as much as what they were expecting.
and it
So
costs
that's why
close to
it costs a
$300
lot of
million.
them, yeah, a lot of shit.
I don't know.
I don't think it made like all the marketing costs back. That's
Probably
why.
not.
But that's probably why it scared them, and that's probably why they're like, hey, let's just double down with Marvel. So
But exciting to see where Spider-Man goes. We may not. Tom Holland may be in this role for a while,
yeah.
but we also have a Miles Morales to talk about, and who knows?
yeah,
Well, we've come to and reached the end. Much like the film Amazing Spider-Man
2, yeah, like
2.
the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, we have reached the end.
Yeah, it's time for us to reboot.
Yes, exactly.
well.
For that next episode.
Roy, thanks for being on the pod.
Yeah, thanks, Roy.
What do
Thanks
you
for
ha-
having me.
What do you have to plug? That's Scooby Doo show.
Scooby Doo on Netflix. I got nothing to plug.
That's smart.
Who am I kidding?
John, what do you have to plug?
Just listen to all your Delphin Pod shows. Go online to the Patreon and sign up for some really cool shit. Also, register to vote. You can still do that on the Delphin Pod website, which is pretty awesome. Obviously, exercise your right to the vote. Please vote. There you go. I'm gonna be a little bit. Forceful.
My lawyer said if we I'll say this off air actually.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to say
That's
that.
not a good start of any sentence.
Definitely not. I got a little worried there when I started hearing that.
My friend OJ said, "Oh, whoops! I better stop talking."
But yeah, that's pretty much it on the plugs on my end.
Andrew,
Yeah, I
what?
Spider-Man.
I loved when Peter traveled so that he can dunk the ball over Flash.
Wow.
That was cool.
I also forgot to mention this. He breaks glass a lot in this. He breaks his screen door. He breaks the backboard. He's a
He
glass
doesn't know his own
breaker.
power.
He's
Doesn't
just
know
so
his own power.
He is
strong.
not pro glass.
Yeah, and so that was my favorite part of the movie is when he
traveled?
tackled. Yeah, when he traveled.
I just figured
Well, I
out.
also like when Flash spills paint all over
These
the
are
girl's
like
poster.
plugs.
I
You're just
know.
like you're plugging your own like.
No,
your
I'm
favorite
plugging the
scenes.
scenes in Spider-Man when he spills the paint all over the poster, and he tells her, "You better watch your back."
I just figured
I
out
was like,
why
that's hilarious.
things go shitty for him. It's because he breaks so much glass. That's like 200 years of bad luck that
I think
he's
that's
got.
a mirror.
Yeah.
But he does break a mirror in this too, doesn't he?
In the restroom?
Yeah, but
The
it's only
rest-
7
yeah.
years of bad luck. It's just
All right.
one.
Well,
Anyway,
Maybe this is why
I
the
work
sequel
at
got canceled.
I work at a comic book store,
Yeah.
and we sell Spider-Man.
The person.
Yeah, we do. We have a life-size Spider-Man for sure. I do have one.
There's a ton of. There are.
I have two
there's-
life-size Spider-Man at the store.
You guys work. Oh, but you guys are there a lot. What do you think? Where does Spider-Man rank in terms of merch? And also, who owns the right for the merch? That's not Sony, right?
It's
Marvel.
still Marvel.
It's still
Marvel.
Marvel.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything Spider-Man like toy-wise. I have comics, obviously.
They
for
sell
days,
out fast.
But toys and statues, I almost have none.
Wow.
Because of how popular
Do you think
it is.
it may be number one?
Behind, no. I was
Okay.
going to say behind somebody. I was like, that makes him not number one.
Yeah.
If he's behind
Who's
someone.
number one? You think?
Probably
Spider-Man.
No, I was.
Wait, what?
No, it's probably something Batman related. Joker,
Oh, really? Batman?
Joker, Batman, Harley.
There's a lot of variants of Batman, but
But like the only thing more popular than Batman is his rogues gallery of villains.
That's true. Batman's pretty
popular.
pretty oversaturated.
Did you guys ever when I don't know which this might have been the Raimi movies when they came out and you can get like a glove that has a giant
Hell
can
yeah,
of,
yeah,
of
I got
silly
that.
string on it,
I had it.
They still make those.
really
I got one
awesome.
for my nephew probably like 2 years ago.
and then now they have the mask that you can wear as well. Very cool.
Someone's actually made like web shooters that latch onto things.
Oh,
which
like
is pretty
real
cool.
ones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like they can close the door
He
and
had to
stuff with it.
farm web.
I forgot what it is. It's some sort of like thread that it's like really related to sticky string. It's just a little bit like stronger or something. Like
Wow.
that. You can't swing from a building. Though. I
Yeah,
want to see like someone try to like
don't
jump
try.
off of a rooftop and then just fall.
So do you think that Spider-Man is like the main New York hero as well? I think he is, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the Marvel heroes kind of are based off out of New York.
Yeah, it's
Fantastic
weird.
Four.
But like,
But I think he's
I think
the-
Spider-Man's the New York hero. Yeah, you're right.
Because when I see,
Agree.
I've seen like protest videos that current people dressed up as
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
I'm
yeah.
like, man, like he's New York, baby. Anyways, go out to delphinpod.com, register to vote. Thanks to Rock the Vote for helping partner with us. Go to patreon.com/delphinpod. Support the pod. You get all these episodes that no one else hears, like movie trivia, and then episodes of this show early. Other than that, thanks so much for listening.
yeah, thanks guys.
Bye.
Bye.